Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Our guests on this Monday to look back over the weekend's football. I'm delighted to say Barry Ferguson and Alan Rough here with me to dissect all the results in the Premiership and, of course, discuss some of the news emerging today as well. So let's look back over the weekend's football. Of course, on the Saturday, it all kicked off early with Hearts against Celtic. We thought it would be a cracker. It didn't quite live up to that, but it had a few talking points. In the end, Ruffy, it was Kyle Lafferty with a cracking volley to win it.
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, had good work by Hearts as well. You know, and the ball came to him, took it first time. It was a tremendous strike. You could see what it meant to him. But I think overall, I think Hearts maybe just edged it. You know, I think they were going forward. I think they were more creative than Celtic.
Yep, here's the story of the SPFL. Yeah, so much to talk about from the fallout of those games. We were discussing there with Ruffy the Hearts-Celtic game. Today, the SFA compliance officer's having a look. We'll find out probably over the next 24 hours, Barry, whether Scott Brown's alleged elbow on Naismith or Naismith's apparent kick-out at Johnny Hayes will merit a notice of complaint.
Look, it's one of the games. It was a proper football match. Two teams were right up for it. I know Nazy and Scott Brown's been mentioned about, obviously, Brownie's elbow and Nazy getting into the back end of Johnny Hayes. But listen, I would just let it go. It's one of the things, as I say, both players are right up for the game. It's one of the games, things happen, so I would just let it go.
Yeah, you'd let it go. I'm not so sure the compliance officer will let it go, Ruffy.
The Scott Brown one, yeah, I don't know about that. The Naismith one, I never have a problem now with people kicking each other. No, after the Morales carry on.
Is there any chance you could let that go? You were wrong, just move on.
Well, that's nothing. If you're going to let Morales off with that, you're going to let Naismith off with his at the weekend.
Yeah.
It's just a kick, isn't it? I mean,
OK, listen, the great thing about it with you two is I've got nothing out of you in the first 2 minutes. I'll tell you right now, I can't see him giving Brown a notice of complaint. I can definitely see him giving Naismith. Just looking at the two incidents, I think Brown, he could argue the case for holding off. Naismith's is different because I think that there's a blatant kick into the backside of Johnny Hayes. Forget the verbals afterwards. It's the actual kick that I think he'll look at and say, you've got a case to answer.
100% with Scott Brown, as you say that. I think he's just feeling whoever's behind him. We all do that as footballers. Nazy's one, listen, it's one of the ones where he's just letting Johnny Hayes know that he's about. But yeah. I honestly don't think it merits looking into it. Just let it go. And I'm not saying it's okay for players to go and do that, but I don't think it was vicious in Nazy's part. OK,
we'll let the events of the next 24 hours unfold to find out whether there is indeed a case to answer. Dundee 0, Aberdeen 1. It was a penalty in the end. I don't think Neil McCann will be too despondent. There were a lot of chances for Dundee in the game as well, Ruffy, but in the end, I think, you know, to lose Kasunga's hand up, comes off it, it's a penalty, you know, or is it a penalty in your mind?
No, you could tell by the interview at the end, you know, he needs a striker desperately. I think Musa had many chances to score, but just couldn't hit the target. But again, he said, I think it was after the game, he said it's somebody within his budget. You know, and that obviously means, you know, it's got to be, it's not going to be a big player. You know, it's going to be maybe a Lawrence Shanklin, maybe they can do a deal there, something like that. Penalty one, I spoke about this all the way through the World Cup. I just hate penalties being given for that. That's not a deliberate handball. His hand's up there, yeah, you can't get away from that. and it hits it. But for me, you know, it's not a deliberate handball.
Yeah, penalty for you, Barry?
Yeah, it's a penalty. It's above his shoulder. He doesn't need to put his hand up above his head. There's no need for it. The ball's went over his head. He's just turned. I don't see why he needs to put his hand up. So it's definitely a penalty for me.
Okay. See, he's got into the groove now. He's warming up now. He thought he was a wee bit soft, and now he's in there with the right hook. So let me get your thoughts on this. I turn round to Barry. Obviously, he had to go to Lanarkshire to the derby with me on Saturday. there was a moment when I looked at you and I thought, you don't really want to be here. This game was, how can I put it, murder. I mean, it was route one for Motherwell. I do think they need something else, Barry, but Hamilton offered nothing until that belter from Boyd.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, when we went to the game, I was looking forward to it. It's a derby game. They're normally feisty encounters. And listen, you get Motherwell play a certain way, diagonals into Connor Salmon and Main. But the first, up until Hamilton scored, I didn't know what way Hamilton were playing, what they were there to try and achieve. Was it to try and win a game or come away with a point? But it was a hard watch, Peter. There wasn't much football. You look at the pitch, that's the best condition I've ever seen that pitch in. Certainly last year it was great. This year it looks even better. It's a pitch that the ball should get down on the ground and played about. I've never seen any of that.
Well, here's a point then, and this is, you'll know this better, and Ruffy as well. I'm not against, the style of it, you know, because I think I was listening to Sam Allardyce over the weekend. There's many ways to win a football match, Ruffy. So if Motherwell want to play that way because of the players Stephen Robinson has available to him, all fine and well. But clubs actually, and managers and tactics, coaches, they get used to what you're doing and then they work out a way to counter it. I think people now know what to expect from Motherwell. So they're going to become more and more used to it. I think they need somebody else, in my mind, that can mix it up for them.
Yeah, it's great watching football, passing the ball about when you're winning 1-0, 2-0. You've got all the confidence in the world, but you've got to have a plan B if it's not working. And if the players that you've got at your disposal means you hit a target man and he can hold it up, as long as your midfield's run about him, supporting him, it can be a way ahead, to get goals. And if that's the way Motherwell think they have to do it, then that's it.
Well, one thing I will say, I think people have now cottoned on the way Motherwell are going to play, so they set up a certain way to stop them from doing that, and if they can't do that, as Ruffy said, they don't seem to have a plan B. But when it does work for them, they're a difficult team to play against. But it was we were looking at each other, it was a definite hard watch for myself. Up until Hamilton scored that unbelievable goal for the young boy Boyd, there was only going to be one winner after that. I didn't think Motherwell had anything in them to go and get a goal back, and for anything Hamilton could have went on and won it by 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, they didn't get any goals between Livingston and Kilmarnock. It was 0-0 in the end. There's a couple of chances here and there. Good save from Jamie McDonald. But other than that, I think Kenny Miller will be well happy just to get the confidence up with that point.
Yeah, you've got to keep picking up points, when you just come into the division. You'll know how difficult it is. We were talking about the park. And we're going to be talking about the park more often, I think, as the season goes on. I don't think a lot of people will like that surface. All credit to Hamilton. They've upgraded theirs. It looks a lot better. But this doesn't look good enough for Premier League football. And I think you might get a few injuries in it.
Yeah, okay. As far as Kilmarnock are concerned, good piece of news. Chris Boyd's going to be given a testimonial, which is great for him, and I don't think anybody would begrudge him it for what he's given to Kilmarnock. No,
listen, he deserves it. He's a legend down there. Had a fantastic start to his Kilmarnock career. He got his move to Rangers, and he's moved about a wee bit. Come back to Rangers again, and then he's went down to Kilmarnock. And what a season he had last year. A lot of people wrote him off, but he scored a great number of goals. And no, for me, he certainly deserves it. And I'm sure, and I'm hopeful that he gets a good turnout. Yeah. Who do you think they'll play? Portland Timbers. I seen a wee bit. I don't know whether it's like a kind of Legends thing he's going to do or whatever. All right. Or you'd expect players. A call, wouldn't you? You'd expect a call, surely. When I read that on the internet, I've not had a text or anything. Yeah. But I hope we'll get one from him. Yeah. But no, listen, he does deserve it. He's been a great servant for Kilmarnock over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. I do hope you get the call if Reno Gattuso can't make it. Anyway, on that point, Steve Clarke has mentioned something which I think you'll be well aware of in the Championship, Ruffy, is the fact that he wants to bring in players as well, but he's not flush with money. This is free transfers, somebody that might do him a turn. It's a Yusuf Malumbu case all over again that will enhance Steve Clarke's squad, although he does mention he's got a lot of quality in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. At the beginning of the season, the manager, doesn't matter what club you're at, the manager's given a budget to work under. If he uses it wisely, he might have a wee bit of surplus, but mostly managers will go out there and just spend a lot, and everything that they've got. So it might be the case of somebody in, somebody going out before somebody comes in, and he'll understand that is the rules, because obviously there's a wage bill depending on who he's got to go for.
Yeah, I mentioned Yusuf Malumbo. He replied to a Hibs fan on Twitter, which I think sent the Hibs fans into meltdown. They think he's going to Easter Road. He is available. I mean, if Lenny could pull that off, that would be some deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think Lenny has got some money in the budget. Obviously John McGinn going away there, and he'll be actively looking at all players available. I think he might get into England for another couple. He seems to do well. He's got good contacts down there. But again, I think he'd be maybe a wee bit disappointed at the weekend, just not getting a win there.
Yeah, it was 1-1 in the end between St Johnstone and Hibernian. And if I'm honest with you, can't give that goal to Tony Watt. I know he's desperate to get off the mark. He took the shot, but it's nowhere near heading towards the goal, is it?
No, it's flashing across the goal. I'm sure he'd be desperate to get off the mark, but no, I'm afraid I can't give him that goal. But I fancied Tibbs to go up there and beat St Johnstone, because I was disappointed in St Johnstone last week against Kilmarnock. But listen, there's Tommy Wright. For me, he's done a fantastic job over the years. It's going to be a long, hard season, and he needs a few players in, but it's a good point for St Johnstone.
Yeah, no surprise that once again Neil Lennon compliments Martin Boyle. I thought he was fantastic last season. I mean, the three midfielders tended to hog all the headlines, but Boyle for me was superb, and again, this season the manager glowing in his praise.
Yeah, on fire. Even an individual, a supporter going along there, you want to see that kind of player. You want to see somebody with pace. You want to see somebody prepared to go by people and put quality balls into the box and score goals as well. So he started like that last year, but as you said, other players took the limelight away from him. But if he carries that on, I'm sure he'll be in it.
One thing I think he's improved on is his end product. I mean, he can go past players. His pace is unbelievable, but his final ball now is starting to find people inside that box, and that's what I think it's going to make him a top player for Hibs this season.
Yeah, okay, let's have a look at the confirmation of all those SPFL results in the Premiership. There was 4 games on the Saturday and 2 on the Sunday, and I think Hearts 1, Celtic 0, Dundee 0, Aberdeen 1, Livingston 0, Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 0, Hamilton 1. And there on the Sunday, Rangers 2, St Mirren 0, St Johnstone 1, Hibernian 1. And let's just look at your old boys Rangers now, Barry. Just after the Championship there's Morton with a win over Alloa, Ross County with a win at Dunfermline, 0-0 between Inverness and Ayr United. The Jags getting a 2-1 win. The directors now really starting to make an impact there at Partick Thistle. Queen of the South 1, Dundee United 2, and boy did Shabalazlo need that result. Just on that, Rangers 2-0 winners in the end. Again, down to 10 men, Ross McCrory sent off. But let's focus first of all on the positives. Getting the goals, good win at home.
Yep. That's the most important thing for me when you're playing at home, is to get off to a quick start, and certainly Rangers done that in Sunday against St Mirren. I think he scored after 14-15 minutes, and then obviously Golson getting the goal as well. Then obviously McCrory, it was a sending off, there's no arguments there. I think you've seen Stephen Gerrard's interview after the game. They're not going to have any arguments about the young man going. But if they'd stayed on, I think it could have been a more convincing win. But listen, they got the win, and they're starting to gel as a team. They're starting to look good. But I keep saying, I hope people are not going to get too excited. It's still early doors. We're only 2 games into the season, but certainly Rangers are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's now getting to the point you can always tell when, fans get a little hysterical. Quite a lot of your mates are now texting you now thinking, this is, the title's on. I mean, they're getting overly excited after 2 games, Barry.
They're wondering why I'm replying saying, listen, calm down a wee bit, because I would probably be the same. I think they're just happy to see a team going out on that pitch and fighting for each other and showing a bit of passion. That's the thing for me it's been missing the last couple of years, and certainly Stephen Gerrard and his backroom staff have brought that. But as I said, I just hope people don't get too overexcited. It's still early in his managerial career, but one thing for sure is he's certainly heading in the right direction. The players that he's brought in look the part. It looks to me if they can handle the pressures that's on them playing at Rangers. So things are looking good, but it's still early doors, as I said. I just hope people don't get carried away and just let them settle in, and I'm sure in time he will be an excellent Rangers manager.
Yeah, I always feel, Ruffy, September is when you get a real gauge. The window's closed, there's players settling in, there starts to get a bit of momentum. It's the end of the month of September where you've started to see the real clubs that are going to be battling at the top end. They've usually had 2, if not 3 games against the real competitors, and then you get a real sense of where they are.
Yeah, but it will be September. It will be the 2nd of September when it's at Parkhead. That's when he'll know. That's when he'll know. That's when he'll know. What kind of team he's got. Early on. How they react to anything that get thrown at them in that game. And there's nothing so far that we've seen would suggest that they aren't going to, stand up to the players you've got this time are much, much better players. Obviously, everything that's going on with Celtic just now, we'll have to wait and see the European game as well. We're hearing about fallouts all over the place, so they'll have to react to it as well. It's something that's not happened at Celtic for the last 2 years, so they'll have to respond as well to obviously a defeat at the weekend, and their players will have to react to it. It's something they've not been asked to do in the last couple of years. So let's see what Celtic do.
Yep, okay. Rangers get the win, and with that in mind, you've mentioned Celtic because they are in Greece. They'll train in the Olympic Stadium tonight, and then tomorrow it's really a huge game. I think Davy Provan had a great article at the weekend in the paper in The Sun, basically saying it's a huge game for Brendan Rodgers, an even bigger game for the Chief Executive Peter Lawwell, and you can understand where he was going in the piece, because quite simply, this is the annual gamble, everything to play for, but it could come a cropper when you continually keep rolling the dice with a set of players that the manager's been crying out for additions.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's upset Brendan Rodgers, and I mean, year on year he just wants to make the team better. He doesn't think it's better this year than what it was last year. And unfortunately for him, there seems to be a wee bit of disruption between him and the board and the agendas that he's identified. I don't know if there's other people than McGinn he's identified. We're just looking at McGinn because that's the one we know. Maybe he's thrown out there another 2 players he's wanted that we didn't know about that he hasn't got either. Yeah. But I think his biggest problem for him being a manager is it's just as if Celtic have stood still and let everybody not catch up, but be better. Do you know what I mean? Hibs are better, Rangers are better, Aberdeen are better. Where a lot of the Celtic supporters are saying we should have kicked on. While we were good, we should have been better and kept that gap. And I think the disappointment as Brendan Rodgers looked and said, well, this gap's, we don't know if it's going to be closed all around, but on the face of it, these teams look better where Celtic look the same. Yeah,
well, he said weaker. He's not as strong as last season, that's what he's saying. And he said you should sign players from a position of strength to become even stronger. Now, we've already discussed the big week that was playing out in front of him. First of all, the Boyata scenario. I don't know why everybody's getting in a fluster about him, because quite simply, I'll be brutal about it. If I was Celtic, I'd sell him, because he is a bomb scare. He's not as good as everybody thinks, or I don't know who thinks he's top drawer centre-half. I think against better teams he gets exposed. So from that point of view, I would sell him in a minute. Now, I think Brendan Rodgers has held on and said, don't sell him now because you haven't got me half the players I've asked for. But it's a thorn, and then the Hearts thing on top of it. Now AEK Athens could be another thorn as well, and a costly one.
Regarding Boyata, I think if Brendan Rodgers had a replacement in, they would have let him go. Listen, I think he's okay. Centre half, he had a decent season. I know he had a couple of good games in the World Cup, but I do think there's better centre halves out there. But what Boyata's got to remember is nobody wanted him when Celtic came in and gave him the chance to come up here and play with a massive club. But if I'm Celtic, I can understand where Brendan Rodgers is coming from. He's not want to let him go because he's pretty short in there just now. So, but for me, 7, 8, 9 million, what's been bandied about, I think you've got to snap their hands off.
I mean, we know it's Fulham. I mean, that window's closed now, so it has to be abroad.
Sevilla
it has
in
to
there
be
as
abroad.
well.
Yeah,
So.
but I mean, in saying that, you know, the supporters will be up their arms because obviously if they don't get through in the next round, they will sell him. He'll be out the door by the weekend if Celtic fail to go into the next round of the Champions League because he'll be surplus. And then all of a sudden, everybody will be going, well, that's us taking more money in and not spending it. You know, unless there is people on a piece of paper sitting just to tick boxes.
Another thing that I've heard a few people saying that they've spent £9 million in Edward, but they got 7 or 8 million for Armstrong, so they've not really spent any money.
Yeah, and it's not as if they don't have money. I just think it's the usual gamble. Don't moan about it because, quite simply, if you're looking at it from a business sense, it works. The blueprint that the board, have exercised year in year out consistently works. When it doesn't work, that's when you have to take the flak. And every now and then it hasn't worked where they haven't been able to. When you have a poor manager like Ronnie Dylan and it doesn't work, you have to suffer the flak. But when you have a good manager and you don't back them and you don't get through with the current squad, then then the manager gets upset because that's what's been happening.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's why Brendan Rodgers is so upset because he's already wanting record. And my job at this club is to make this team on the park the best that can be.
Yeah.
The board job is to bring in as much money as possible, make the club as healthy as possible. So they've got a job to do, and I've got a job to do. They're not letting me do my job. That's basically what his problem is.
Okay, give me the prediction then. Do you think they are going out tomorrow night?
No, I think they'll manage just to scrape through.
Yep, I think they'll go through.
Okay, we will wait on that. Just a couple of things I want to get in before we finish. James Wilson's joined Aberdeen on a season-long loan deal. 22-year-old, hot prospect. Lots of people liked what he was doing at Manchester United when he burst on the scene. I think he could be one of maybe another 1 or 2 players that Dell needs.
Yeah, well, centre-forward scoring goal regularly. We know Rooney did it a couple of years ago, but the couple of strikers he's brought in haven't come up with that quality of goals, number of goals, and I think with a team like Aberdeen who create as many chances as the big sides, they need a striker who is on fire, to take them up maybe 20, 22 goals a year, something like that.
I think he'll be a decent addition. He's been out on loan a few times. He's been at some decent clubs, Brighton, Derby, Sheffield United. So I think Aberdeen have got a decent player there because he's at an age where he's got to play, and I'm sure Aberdeen will play up at Aberdeen because they're short up top. Yeah,
and just briefly, any surprise that Hearts have rejected the offer to take Lee Wallace and cash for Kyle Lafferty? I think Hearts want $750,000 for Lafferty. That's it.
Yeah, I seen that they're not keen on Lee Wallace, which I'm surprised about. Lee Wallace,
maybe it's the wages that's been the problem. Not that they're not keen on him.
He's going to be on a lot more money than Hearts can afford.
Yeah.
So I think that's where Lee Wallace and Rangers will need to sit down and maybe come to some sort of agreement with. I know he's got a year left in his contract. Maybe get paid off 6 months of that, and then he'll go back to Hearts. But I think this will go on for another couple of weeks. But
you think they'll get their man?
Yeah, I've got a feeling. I know Kyle Lafferty says that, listen, he's not in a rush or whatever, but I know if Rangers come calling, I'm sure Kyle Lafferty will want to go back there.
Okay, it's all about opinions. You can give us yours on our YouTube channel. Just give us your thoughts on some of the topics we've been discussing. Kyle Lafferty, Celtic, can they get past AEK Athens in Athens tomorrow night in that return leg? Give us your view on that. Hearts fans, you might want to be talking about your team and how they're performing. It's looking good under Craig Levein. And Aberdeen fans, what do you make of that good signing there of James Wilson? Hopefully you've enjoyed the programme and you can join us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell your friends as well. The Football Show. Thanks to Alan Ruff, to Barry Ferguson, and from myself, Peter Martin. Thanks for watching.